Hi everybody, welcome to the latest webcast in Caring.com's Digital Marketing Academy. Our session today is about getting and responding to consumer reviews online. I'm Denise Grob, a marketing director here at Caring.com, and I'm joined by Fiona Lee, our Director of Content and SEO. Bear with me. There we go. Before we get started, I want to let you know this is a one-way webcast where only the presenters speak. However, you can ask questions during the session, and we'll have a Q&A at the end as well. No question will go unanswered. We'll either answer it during the session or afterwards, so don't hesitate to ask us. We definitely want your questions. We'll also share the presentation materials with you after as well. While this webinar is free of charge, you do have to listen to this brief commercial for Caring.com as your price of admission. Our website has about 3 million visitors each month, and we are the largest senior care review site. We're #1 for senior care reviews. In fact, we were one of the first to offer senior care reviews, with some on our site dating back to 2008. Today there's about 150,000 consumer reviews posted on the website, and we add thousands every month. And each year we take those reviews and we compile a list of the best senior care providers based on those who have the best ratings and best and most ratings, as well as those that take the time to respond to reviews. If you're interested in seeing who made the cut for 2017, there's a link right from our homepage. You can check that out. And congratulations to those of you who are among the Caring Stars of 2017. Our reviews program is known for its integrity. We have humans, not algorithms, processing the reviews before they get posted on our website. And unlike some of the other sites, you can actually reach a human at Caring.com if you ever need help with a review issue. For those of you who aren't yet familiar with me, I've been at Caring for over 6 years now and have extensive experience in social media marketing and reviews in particular. I was actually part of the original expert panel who created our review guidelines and have been a key player in the program in the years since then, including as co-creator and manager of the Caring Stars program. In my spare time, I also frequently post online reviews. None on Caring.com, of course, because that would be a conflict of interest, but definitely for businesses that I patronize. Joining me today is Fiona Lee, who started with Caring last fall, and she runs our content, SEO, and online community teams. Previously, she spent about a decade at Google on their editorial team and earned her BA in English at UC Berkeley. In her spare time, she also posts online reviews, including of the latest books that she's read. As usual, we have a lot we're going to cover today. We'll start with a quick overview of why consumer reviews and your responses are so important in senior care. Then we'll dive into the how-to on getting and responding to reviews. And we'll wrap up with some case studies and key insights we've gathered from our referral partners in senior living and home care who are doing a great job with reviews. For those of you who joined a little late, just a reminder, we will be recording this session. You will get materials afterwards. Okay, 92% of consumers are now reading online reviews when they're researching a product or service. In most cases, they're clicking on the business listings that have reviews and they're skipping those that don't. And that's true whether they're on a search engine like Google or whether they're on a directory. The feedback in reviews gives the insights about what current and former clients like and dislike and how that business may or may not meet the needs of the person doing the online research. So businesses with a lot of great reviews, and even those with a high volume of positive reviews sprinkled with some negative reviews, are getting more leads than those businesses that don't have any reviews or only have a few. But it's not just that you get more leads. Reviews are also helping to more easily convert the leads you get. For instance, we're finding that home care agencies with reviews have an easier time getting the prospective client to call them back after we've sent the lead. And for senior living communities, we're finding that you get more folks in the door for tours and ultimately more move-ins if you focus on reviews and managing your online reputation. We've done multiple studies on this influence of reviews, and we have repeatedly found that listings with more than 15 reviews perform much better than those with only 1 or 2 reviews. So if you're still among those that only have a few or no reviews, I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. We're going to help you address this problem ASAP so you don't miss out on those new customer opportunities. You may be wondering, there's so many review sites now, which one do I focus on? This is actually a common question I get. The answer is relatively simple. Focus on the sites where the reviews are going to be read by the largest numbers of people best matched to the services you offer. To shed more light on this, last summer we ran a survey where we asked online senior care searchers which review site they trusted most. We only let them choose one, or they could write in the choice if we hadn't provided it. We found that they trust reviews on senior care websites far more than the general review sites like Yelp or Google. Very few are looking to Facebook as a trustworthy source of senior care reviews. We also found that they're visiting your websites to read reviews. This data can help you prioritize, and particularly if you don't have a marketing agency or reputation management software. Now let's talk about how you can get reviews fast. But first, let's quickly take a poll. Bear with me while I launch it. Okay, just 1 second, excuse me. There we go. Okay, you should be seeing the poll in front of you now. We want to know, what is your biggest hurdle in getting reviews? Enter the option that most fit your situation. Okay, great. A lot of you are doing that. It's wonderful. Just going to give it a couple more seconds. Okay, the ticker is still moving. We usually wait until everyone's response is in. It's really great. I'm so thrilled you're all answering this poll. It's wonderful. Okay, last call. I'm going to close it now. Okay, great. So let me share the results with you. So we are seeing that most of you, the biggest hurdle is that you just haven't made it a priority yet. And hopefully by the end of this session, we'll help solve that. So let me just take that away, come back to, okay, great. All right. Before you go out there and start asking folks for reviews, first thing you should do is go out and visit the search engines to see what reviews are already about you out there. And also take a look at what review sites are the senior care searchers going to see when they type in your name. Which ones do you think they're going to click on based on the volume of reviews? As you visit these sites, take a look at the people who are already reviewing you. If you weren't aware of those reviews and you recognize some of those folks, be sure to follow up and thank them. It's really important. They may be willing to post a review on a different site that they haven't considered before. If they've already reviewed you, they may be more inclined to review you on another site. And then also, as you're looking at those listings, respond to negative reviews for the websites where you can do that, or request removal. And really important, and we'll cover this more later, learn the review submission and promotion options of each of those websites. Most review websites will have a custom form and a link that you can share to get reviews for your business. The sample we're showing you is, you see here on your caring.com listing, you just click the write a review, and that will take you to a specific form for that listing, which has its own URL. You can copy, and URL is what you see circled in the upper right. That's the web location of that review submission form. You can copy and paste that and give that to people in email to review you on caring.com, but most of the websites also have this. Okay, the other thing is many of the review websites have services that can help you get reviews. It could be review us or see our reviews materials, or maybe for advertisers they have extended services such as collecting reviews on your behalf. Some even have partnerships. Like for instance, caring.com, we have a partnership with Home Care Pulse, which collects customer feedback for home care agencies, which then gets turned into reviews on those home care agencies' listings on caring.com. See what's out there and be sure to take advantage of those services to help you get reviews. And for those of you with the larger budgets, there is also reputation management software you can get to help you manage your presence on multiple review websites. And some digital marketing agencies also specialize in this area. But before you go that route, make sure that the software choice or that marketing agency is really familiar and integrated with the review sites that you're focused on. Speak directly to those review sites about their experience with those vendors and get feedback directly from some of their existing and prior customers. Just like the senior care searchers who are using reviews to make their selection, so too should you in making yours. Your website, I mentioned earlier, can be a great way to get new reviews, and the senior care searchers are going to your website to read reviews. This is an example from outside our industry, but I wanted to share it with you because it's addressing some of the concerns I hear about why people hesitate to ask for reviews on their websites. How I found this page was I had a dear friend coming in from out of town to stay with me, and I wanted some professionals to make my home sparkle for her visit. So I went online and started reading reviews about local cleaning agencies. What I particularly liked about this agency and how they approached reviews is that they both showcased reviews, so they had an Our Reviews tab, but they also asked website visitors to give them a review, and they identified the websites that they most wanted to get those reviews and provided quick links. You're seeing it on the screen on the right, but on their actual website, it's down below the Contact Us link, and that's important. You may notice I've circled it, in fact. Before I'm taken to those other review sites, they ask me to contact them if I am inclined to give a neutral or negative review. They want to hear from me directly before I go out and post that feedback on the web. And they've made it real easy to contact them right from that spot before I scroll down to give a review on one of the sites. In this case, as it turned out, I wasn't entirely impressed with their service, and I did have negative feedback that I was planning to post on Yelp. But the next day, after my service, they called me to check in. They really listened to what I said. They took it seriously, and they offered a second cleaning free of charge. So they're supplementing their online reputation management efforts with good old-fashioned customer service, and it worked for them. I didn't end up posting that negative review after all. Who to ask? I think you can identify at least 5 potential reviewers. Hopefully you have more than that, but at least 5. And these are the types of folks that you should focus on. Your cognitively healthy clients or residents, their family members, and sporadically or periodically, not too many of these folks, but you can also ask experts who work for the consumers, such as social workers or social move managers, who may have firsthand experience with your services without having a conflict of interest. It's really important that the consumer not feel any pressure, and they shouldn't feel forced to write positive things about you. The best reviews are completely sincere and voluntarily given. While you do have to ask for reviews and you should give guidance on how to use the technology, particularly with the folks that we serve, you shouldn't take their feedback and post it on the website yourself. And definitely, again, don't put too much pressure on them to say certain things about your business. It's also important to consider the right moments to ask. And this actually came up in many of you. You submitted this as what you wanted to learn, what you most wanted to learn from this session. Is it appropriate to ask right after the consumer has signed a contract with you? I wouldn't recommend that timing because that individual hasn't yet received services from you. But you could include a review us postcard in the onboarding or welcome packet and check in a few weeks later to see if they do have feedback about how things are going and would be willing to share a review online. Before you outreach, though, especially if you outreach via email, check in with that person and make sure that they're still pleased with your services and truly are a great candidate for a positive review before you ask them to post one. If there's concerns that need attention, you need to address those first and make a note to follow up a month or two later and see how things are going then. Ask for the review when you're confident that the person has positive things to say about their experience. And in the text of your ask, you want to use words that's really going to motivate them and not be too self-serving, but rather customer service focused. So as you see on this review postcard form, this provider chose help others on the left as a large call out. We have found that is a really excellent match for baby boomer family caregivers. That's what they do. They are helping another individual. So they are motivated by helping others. In fact, in the early years of our program, early months rather, we ran a test to see what compelled family caregivers to write a review. Getting a Starbucks card or Caring.com giving a donation to an Alzheimer's charity for every review they submitted. We found the Help Others option did significantly better by a large margin in driving reviews than Help Yourself to a Cup of Coffee did. And also this review postcard is an example of a submission option that's easier for some of the older adults who aren't online and who are tech challenged. This was actually custom designed by Right at Home, one of our larger partners in the home care space. If you're from a large organization, you have many locations, and you'd like to consider a form like this, just get in touch with us after this session. We'd be happy to discuss that with you. You also need to be ready to seize on the opportunities as they arise naturally in the course of your day. For instance, when one of your clients or their family members tells you how happy they've been with your services, take a moment to thank them. And ask them if they'd be willing to share that feedback online to help others get to know your services too. You could create an elevator pitch, a short verbal response that asks them to post that feedback online to reach others, help get the word out, help other families in their search. I also recommend you complement that with some handouts, such as a flyer with information on how to review you online, or you could give them one of the review postcards we just talked about. If someone mails via post or emails you a testimonial, don't assume they're okay with your staff posting that feedback online. That is private feedback they've given to you until they've opted into sharing that publicly. So do encourage them to post it online as a review. Don't do it for them. Some of you also asked for some samples of what to say when you ask. And I hope that I've been getting across that to be successful and smart in getting reviews, you need to have a really compelling ask and make it as easy as possible. And to help ensure that folks follow through easily, you need to match that reviewer to the best submission option for them. So here's a sample. You see in the first paragraph, it reminds the customer of a recent compliment they shared with you. That gives them something to talk about in their review. The second paragraph asks them if they'd be willing to share the feedback as a review, so you have the ask, And then in this sample, the third paragraph is matching them to the appropriate platform for them. This person is online, so sharing a link is a good match for them. But I've also shown that you can offer the review by mail postcard option for this person if they don't want to just click that link. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about matching. On Google, for instance, you have to create an account and log in to leave a review. So if you see that a family member of a resident has a Gmail email address, they could be a match for leaving a review on Google Local since they already have an account with Google, and it would be relatively easy for them to click from the inbox where they're going to get your ask and then to submit a review on Google. Yelp is another option, but to participate on that site, you need to create an account. You have to add friends and verify your first review, particularly if it's a 5-star positive review. And there is a high likelihood that Yelp will hide that initial review until it's verified. I personally had this happen to me when I very first started using Yelp. The business had to call me and ask me to verify that review before it would show on their page. That's a lot of hoops to jump through for baby boomers and older adults. And remember that stat I shared earlier, that demographic doesn't really have high trust in the reviews on Yelp anyway. Young people, though, like the adult children of your residents or clients, may already be on Yelp with lots of friends. In fact, I was just on Yelp yesterday and I saw some statistics that they published, and it said that 80% of their users in the United States are younger than 54. So it's definitely the young folks on Yelp. So if you have a grandchild of a resident who's given great feedback, or an adult grandchild, I should clarify, or an adult grandchild of a home care client, they may ask them if they're on Yelp and they'd be willing to share a review there. That could be a good match for them. I have a third example, as you see on this slide, and yes, I hope it doesn't come across as another commercial, but on caring.com, reviewers don't have to create an account with a password. We just need the reviewer's email and phone number to be able to contact them should we have any follow-up questions. Plus, we accept reviews via multiple options, phone, postcard, or online. So in this case, you can ask the reviewer which she prefers and then give her the related info. And most of our users are over 50, not under. Another way to get reviews that folks don't often think of is to promote the reviews you've already received. There are social media studies that have found the crowd attracts the crowd. So when they see other people posting reviews about your business, they may be compelled to post their own. The buzz has already started and they're adding to it, so guide them by sharing your best reviews, the ones you want to see more of. You can put excerpts in your billing statements, you can create an entire page of your website, you can share them on your Facebook page, and definitely circulate them among your staff to both make them feel good but encourage them to ask for reviews as well. And some senior living communities are even reading these aloud at their events. If you're happy with the reviews that you're getting on caring.com, we have a Read Our Reviews badge, and it comes with HTML code to make it real easy to post. So definitely promote the reviews you're getting to get more. You can also use reviews-based awards to stand out as a business with a high volume of the best ratings. These awards typically generate a lot of media coverage, social media buzz, and positive content, and as I mentioned, can help boost your staff's morale. And they really do help prospects find and select you. We've seen this with our Caring Stars Award for several years. Those partners of ours who get the award have averaged twice as many inquiries and move-ins than those that haven't. So when you see these opportunities, it's definitely worth your time to explore further. Okay, now let's shift focus to responding to the reviews you generate. You can't really hide or ignore your online reputation. You need to be very vigilant about what people are saying, both positive and negative, and then take action, or else you're letting others define your reputation for you. Taking the time to respond to reviews does matter to the senior care searchers online. We asked them, and almost a third said it lets them know you care and are listening to consumer feedback. 30% weren't sure if they'd ever seen a business respond, so that's clearly a missed opportunity given the prior group of folks for who it matters. Some also told us that it matters how you respond, and we'll cover that in a little bit. Only a small percentage said that their opinion couldn't be swayed by your response, so it's definitely worth your time to respond to reviews when you can't get them taken down. All right, when you do see a negative review, it's completely natural to be disappointed and angry, but don't let those emotions cloud your judgment. You might want to call that reviewer names, and you may think their opinions are all wrong and yours are all right. But neither of those approaches works in responding to reviews in our industry and could actually hurt you with the senior care searcher. And definitely resist the temptation of using a template response on all negative reviews you receive. Whether that consumer visits multiple listings or sees the same response on multiple reviews on a single listing, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe that you're being sincere if you're saying the same thing to every negative reviewer in a very regimented, sounds like legal and PR were involved response. Definitely alter your words and tailor them to the individual review. Keep in mind that you are speaking more to the prospective client than you are to the reviewer, whose mind or opinion may already be made up. Your response is definitely posted to that reviewer, but the crowd visiting the listing is the one reading your response most and who is most persuaded about whether or not they're going to ask for more information about your business. I like to tell people to imagine that your response is posted on a highway billboard or a TV advertisement. It's not a private conversation between you and the reviewer. It's a public response being judged by anyone who visits that listing on the internet. Your response can help build your reputation more than the review that sparked it. Okay, before we dive into more tips on crafting response, let's take a step back and remember that you have 3 options with every review. You can ignore it, but we've already discussed that's not the best practice and could be a big mistake. Your other option is to contest the review, and what that means is you're requesting that it be removed. And the third option, if you can't get the review removed, is to then publish a response. So remember those 3 options with every review you get, positive or negative. Okay, let's talk first about how to effectively get reviews removed. Every week I get at least one email contesting a review as factually inaccurate when really it's just a difference of opinion. For example, the provider may have spent a great deal of time, energy, and money creating what they think is the most superior dining experience. They're real proud of that menu and the quality of that food. And then along comes a consumer who simply says the food is terrible. The food is terrible is an opinion that they're entitled to, even if you and others strongly disagree with that opinion. So when you're contesting reviews, focus on the fact-based statements. So in that example, if the consumer has said, the food is terrible, they're only serving meatball sandwiches 7 days a week, and in reality you have 2 entrees with every meal, that's a fact you can contest to get that review removed. One exception, though, you might want to consider is if you did make and serve meatball sandwiches 7 days a week for a specific resident by his request, in addition to those 2 entrees, you could also, in that case, choose to respond to the review and how much, and highlight how much that you go above and beyond to make your residents happy. So you could highlight that you have 2 entrees for every meal, but for the last month you've been serving meatball sandwiches every week by request of residents. That's a rare example, obviously, but I just wanted to give you an example of the nuances between fact and opinion and how to look for the facts and contest when there is a factual error. Avoid approaching the review sites and asking them to take down a review because it's old. Both the search engines and the consumers are actually looking for those older reviews. They want to see that it's a well-established business, that it's been generating customer feedback over time, and they want to see how your business has been responding to the feedback it's been receiving. Another common mistake I see is bringing up other people's opinions. So take down that review because we're the best in town, hundreds of people say so. Most review sites aren't going to take down a review just because there's lots of other people who disagree with it. And remember that consumers are seeking out those negative reviews, so if they only see positive reviews, they may be less likely to trust those. The negative reviews can actually help you with the senior care searcher believing the positive ones are authentic, real reviews. And another thing to avoid with contesting reviews is threats about advertising. Consumers already suspect that advertisers get special treatment, so most of the review sites are particularly sensitive to have a strict line between removals and advertising contracts. So take down that review or I'll cancel my contract is not a great way to start off the conversation in requesting a review removal and could actually hurt your chances of getting that review removed. And definitely do not send the review website any irrelevant or character defamation comments about the reviewer. Don't send them any private information. Any of your correspondence with the review website can be subpoenaed and made public if it were to go to court. So stick to information that is relevant to the feedback in the review and that is publicly known. The number one thing you should do is read the review removal guidelines for the website. Find out what would cause them to take down that review and then match the submission to those guidelines. That is the most effective way. For instance, if the review references services that you don't offer and creates a factual error, most review sites don't want factual errors in reviews on their site, and that's a very valid reason to request that it be taken down, and you're highly likely to get that review taken down. Or if you have a legal mandate to stop using a particular community or agency name because you sold that brand to another company, that's another legitimate, reasonable request to have a review removed. Approach it from the perspective of what motivates that site to remove reviews, and you'll have a lot more success in getting them removed. Some businesses have the incorrect perception that online reviews are just a venting fest or a smorgasbord of complaints. And anything goes, and it's just their competitors out there slandering them. The reality of online reviews, though, and this is true across numerous websites, is that the majority of reviews online are positive. On caring.com, the percentage is 78% of reviews are 4-star or 5-star. So it is a misperception that people only go online to gripe. So don't let that be a hurdle to asking. And when you do get positive reviews, show gratitude. Be thankful and conversational in your response. Add any relevant information that fleshes out what they added. So if they compliment your dining, feel free to add that your chef is a 5-star chef, has a Michelin star, whatever it is, whatever's great about the chef, they've opened the door for you to brag a little. Go ahead and take that opportunity. But avoid sharing, again, avoid sharing any private details. For those negative reviews that come up, if you can't contest it for factual error or get it removed for guideline issues, do take the opportunity to post a response. And your tone and messaging in that response should demonstrate that you are open to hearing feedback, you're available to address concerns, you are an excellent communicator, and you handle challenges with grace and professionalism. You are not argumentative. You are service-oriented. Definitely avoid going tit for tat. Resist the urge to debate the merits of every nit in that review. Take that conversation offline. Keep your response to 2 paragraphs or less. And then another strategy is get more positive reviews to push down the negative ones. Here's a great example of a senior living community that received a negative review and took the high road in responding. Instead of getting hung up on the reviewer's harsh words and rating, they thanked that individual for taking the tour. They found the one compliment in the negative review and thanked them for that. They even invited this reviewer to come back and give them another chance. That's going to leave an excellent impression with new visitors to that listing, and I wouldn't be surprised if that even comes up in some of those tour takers' comments. Here are some examples of real review responses that we've received and did not publish. As you're reading them, how do you feel about that business and how it responds to criticism or feedback? Do you think you'd be more or less inclined to ask for more information about hiring them? Would you move your mom into that senior living community? Does it seem like the staff are diplomatic and service-oriented? Are they flexible and empathetic? Are you impressed by their stellar professionalism, or do you wonder if they keep accurate records and make billing mistakes? Do their comments seem believable? For instance, is it really possible for anyone to be clean 100% of the time, as the top rebuttal claims? Could John Smith be a consumer trying to mask their real identity by using a screen name because they're afraid of retaliation? Just as negative reviews can reveal more about the reviewer than your business, so too can your review response say more about you than the reviewer. If you're a referral partner on Caring.com, you're going to get a new review alert the instant a new review is published. That comes to you via email, and that's for both positive or negative with quick links to respond. And for any older reviews, or for any of you who aren't yet partnered with us, you can email community@caring.com if you want to address any reviews on your listing. Okay, now we'll share some case studies and some tips from some of the senior living communities and home care agencies we work with and how they overcame some challenges and had success. We'll start with LiveWell. Back in 2012, they began focusing on reviews as a significant marketing opportunity, and they noticed in looking at search engines, they did what I suggested. They went out to search engines. They noticed that Caring.com was listed high on page 1 results because of our extensive, high-quality caregiving content. And then they thought about that, and they recognized that there was an opportunity to use their listing in our directory, given how well we were ranking, to build brand awareness and attract more customers. In search engine marketing, this strategy is called barnacle strategy, where you attach your business and your brand to a reputable, relevant website that is already succeeding at getting found by those who are using online search engines. So their collection, because they saw this opportunity and focused on it, their collection of reviews on Caring.com grew really fast, and they began getting inbound inquiries from prospective residents and their family members who mentioned those reviews they were reading. In fact, they earned so many reviews that they ultimately achieved our Caring Stars Award 3 times, which made them a Caring Superstar in 2015, and they were their only one in their state that year. And they made a big deal about that because that was a competitive advantage for them. Over the years, they have grown, and they are now 6 properties and a home care agency, and they're still very happy with the results they're seeing from online reviews, both in attracting new customers, but also they use it for staff recruitment and morale boosting as well. They definitely make a point to circulate those reviews they're getting. We have more information on this case study on our blog if you want to dive into the details. Another one is the Willows at Meadow branch in Winchester, Virginia. In 2014, they were one of our Caring Stars winners, and there were only 10 winners in their state that year. They were so thrilled to be included. They hosted a special award ceremony and press conference. They are highly competitive with another assisted living community in their area. The two owners have known each other for decades and have been competing against each other all that time. So their competitor didn't win in 2014. So they definitely made a huge deal and definitely stood out from that competitor. They took the award badge and created staff lapels and ribbons. They made an outdoor banner. They updated all of their information packets, and they even put the award badge in their billing statements as a gentle reminder for their customers about the high quality of their services. At the press conference, they invited some of the folks who had posted reviews to come share their testimony and join in the celebration. They also sponsor a local community event, and they take their residents in vintage cars. That year, they used the award badge to create special car window decals, some wine glasses, some napkins, and other decorative items as part of that event so that everybody in town would know that they were among the top assisted living communities in the nation. And it worked. That buzz really worked. When I called them in the weeks after the announcement, they were busy processing move-ins, and I had to wait to speak to them. Okay, now I'm going to turn over the controls to Fiona Lee, who I mentioned earlier is our Director of Content and SEO, and she recently conducted a listening tour with leading senior care companies. Is going to tell you all about that.
Thanks, Denise. I'm really excited to share some of the things that we had heard from our recent reviews listening tour. And I did this tour because, as Denise mentioned, I had recently joined Caring, and I was really interested in hearing firsthand how reviews were working for our senior care agencies and our communities. So you can see here some of the partners that we spoke with, among many others. And what we did was we asked folks to just tell us more about their challenges in collecting and managing reviews. We heard some great suggestions, and that's what we wanted to share with you today. So this is probably no surprise, but by far the biggest challenge that we heard time and time again is really concern about getting negative reviews. One of our partners told us that even though their corporate team was on board with getting reviews, the staff at the ground level at the individual communities were still worried about negative reviews, and that fear was really holding them back from asking for reviews. So what this one particular partner did, they had a portfolio of communities, and so what they decided to do was to hone in on the communities where reviews would make the biggest difference. And for them, this was communities with low occupancy rates. They went to these communities and they framed reviews with the staff as a growth marketing strategy as a way to differentiate themselves from competitors online. And as Denise had mentioned in just the previous examples, this strategy can really work. So by talking about occupancy rates, this partner was really able to motivate their staff to try to give reviews a chance as a marketing tactic. So this can be something that you can try if you are also finding that your staff is holding back because of concern on negative reviews. We also heard that sometimes staff don't ask for reviews because they don't want to overwhelm their clients by asking them to write a review that captures the whole experience with your community or with the service that you provide. Eschaton Senior Living in California was one partner that told us about this issue. And what they did was that they tackled this by clearing up the misconception that a review needs to be all-encompassing. Actually, a lot of great reviews just need to capture one aspect of your service or community, like a really great meal experience or a really fun event that you threw at the community. And you can see here with the quote at the bottom of the slide that, in fact, Google said something similar a few years back. The customer journey is really made up of hundreds of micro moments. And all you need to do with reviews is ask someone to write a few sentences about one of those positive micro moments. So those were just a couple of the staff issues that we heard about that may be preventing reviews. But of course, there often may be technical issues as well, and you guys indicated that with the polls. While some people have no problems with navigating the internet, other people just may not be very comfortable on the computer. Or maybe you have a language issue because you have a lot of diversity at your communities and English might not always be the first language for your residents. So how do you get these folks to leave a review? What one of our partners did was that they tapped into the local community and recruited volunteers to come in. They paired these volunteers up with residents and got their help with translating and transcribing reviews and posting them online. And this was just a really great way to get their clients some social interaction with the community as well. So what we listed here are just some ways that you can recruit volunteers, obviously through your Facebook page if you have one, or by posting flyers in your communities, or just by calling around with checking in with local organizations. And a lot of times these organizations are looking for those opportunities to help out in the community. And don't forget, as Denise had mentioned, Caring.com also offers postcards and a phone review service that can help you get around these types of technical issues. So last but not least, our partners talked about the importance of really consistent top-down communication. Maybe everyone on your staff agrees that reviews are important, but let's face it, we all have a ton of things to do, and it's really easy for reviews to just slip through the cracks. So we chatted with Pacifica Senior Living, and we heard about a few interesting things that they did to help keep reviews top of mind for their team. First of all, they got their CEO and executive directors at the various communities to talk about reviews and the importance of reviews, and that way the staff really listened up. Secondly, they made things fun, and they ran competitions between different buildings, and they rewarded the communities that got the most reviews at the end of the month with a pizza party for the staff and the residents. And in the monthly meetings, like Denise had mentioned as a best practice, they made sure to give a shout out to teams that did a really good job with reviews. And all these little touches, I think, went a long way to help motivate the staff to go out and ask for reviews. So these are just a few of the suggestions we heard, and I'm sure there may be other ideas on the call, and we'd love to hear what has worked well for you. And if you do want to share your experiences, then just type them into that question module that you should see on your screen, and we'll make sure to mention them and highlight them with others. And I think at this time we'll open it up for questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Fiona. So one question we got, probably you came late, but yes, the slides will be available afterward. We will also have a recording available, so we'll just get that out of the way. And then the other question we got is, do we advise having folks at the senior living community call and ask for reviews? And then transcribing their response and posting that on a website. I have a two-part answer for that. First part is, absolutely, I recommend calling people who have given you compliments in the past or who you feel may be willing to post a review and give positive feedback. Do give them a call, see how things are going, see if they're still happy with your organization, see if they would be willing, once you confirm that, see if they would be willing to post a review online. Match them to the best option. So are they the adult grandchild of the resident? Then maybe you suggest Yelp. If they are a 50-plus woman who is a family caregiver, suggest Caring or a senior care review site. If you know already they have a Gmail account, perhaps that's a good option for them. Or if you know that they struggle with technology, offer to send them a postcard. Or if you're a partner with a review site or you have access to some of those services I mentioned, like phone reviews, connect them with that review site to submit their review by phone. But do not collect the review yourself and go post it on the review site. Most review sites will reject that submission. Even if you get through initially, they may eventually find out about it and it'll come down and you've wasted everyone's time, and it even could create an embarrassing situation for you with the consumer who you transcribed their review for them. So I advise you not to do that, but definitely do the outreach to get reviews. So thank you very much for that question. Okay, this is a question that maybe Fiona would like to answer, and it is, do you have video testimonials in the reviews program on caring.com?
That's a great idea. We currently, for Caring, do not have video testimonial as a functionality, but we will definitely pass that suggestion on to our product team. Thanks.
Okay, great. Oh, here's a suggestion. Fiona had asked for your successes, and here is one that was submitted. This is an individual who has said that they received some negative reviews on channels such as Google and Facebook before, which are notoriously unresponsive, don't have staff available like some of like we do, and they they had some that contained positive content in the body text, but had 1 or 2 star rating. So this individual thanked them for the review, gently expressed confusion about the disconnect between the rating and the content, and asked for a request for clarification. And to their surprise, they had great success in getting those consumers to change the rating to more match the text of the review. So excellent example of how responding to the review rather than ignoring it, even in situations where you can't get help getting it taken down, can work in your favor. Great, great story. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, let's see, what else have we got here? All right, here's a good question. I get this question a lot. I'm glad I got it. If we get handwritten responses for some of our senior residents, how can we get them to transfer them online? You can't post more than 1 review on a site from the same domain, so we can't type them ourselves. What I would suggest you do is when they give you a handwritten testimonial, I hear about this a lot, they'll write you a lovely note or the family member will mail you a letter. That is your prompt to thank them, ask them to post it online, and match them to the correct means to do so. Now, if they are an individual who is not online, then you have to look at your alternative options. Which review sites have those? Which review sites will allow them to submit their feedback via postcard or phone? So if, for instance, if you are partnered with Caring.com and you get a handwritten letter from somebody, you could thank them and give them a postcard, ask them to submit it. Those postcards are already postage paid and self-addressed. All they have to do is write their feedback. You can't do that for them. But Fiona mentioned the volunteer option. So someone that doesn't work for your organization, who is 100% doing it out of the kindness of their heart, helping that senior post an online review, that is another way to do it, so that you don't get dinged by the review site for the review coming from your staff computer, or the review site finding out that your staff wrote it on behalf of the resident. Most of the review sites won't accept that type of review. It could be considered under duress. Most of the review sites have to have a direct relationship with the reviewer. So look at your alternatives. Definitely use that handwritten letter as an opportunity to ask and match. Okay. Well, we're running out of time. We have a few more things we want to cover, so I am personally going to follow up with each and every one of you. We're going to have our materials circulated afterward, and so your questions won't go unanswered. I'm happy to have ongoing conversations with you, and I work very closely with Fiona, so if you have a question for her specifically, I will get that to her and she'll get back to you. Well, for right now, we have a few more things we need to cover quickly in the remaining minutes that we have. First, I want to summarize some of the key points and 3 things you can do today. This was really a how-to webinar, so what I want you to do is give it a spin. Look at the reviews on your Caring.com listing. Do you have a good volume? Do you have recent ones? do you have any that need a response? Take care of that. And if you aren't a partner and don't have an easy way or don't know that you have an easy way to respond, just email community@caring.com and I will help you from there. Then I also want you to identify at least 3 to 5 consumers who would post positive reviews. Remind them of the service compliments, ask them if they'll post a review, and match them to the correct way to do so. Remember that. Remind, ask, match. And then I'm sure you have a positive review out there somewhere. Circulate that to your staff and or your residents or clients. Share it on your Facebook page. Celebrate that positive feedback you've gotten to generate more like it. And if you're feeling really ambitious, take the 4th step here, and that is to craft and post a response to a positive or negative review. These are your takeaways that I want you, that I believe you can do today. Okay. The last thing is I want to let you know, I hope that you've enjoyed our session and that you found it very informative and educational. I want to let you know about the next one. It's Be There or Be Square. Caring VP Katie Roper will be leading that session with Hurricane Marketing. They're going to be talking about how to host memorable, crowded, and valuable events as a referral source for new clients. As always, we welcome your feedback and suggestions. You are going to be prompted at the end of this session to give feedback about it. I really want you to do that. I want to hear, and even if you missed that somehow, I want you to email me. How did we do? Did we cover what you wanted to learn? Is there anything that we missed or that you want to hear more on? Please don't be shy. Please definitely reach out to me. I will get back to you. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. I know you're busy, so thank you very much. And this concludes our webinar for today.